When most people think of duck, they think of Asian recipes, but confit duck leg is, for me, something very French. So I'm gonna make a French, well, kind of a French version of confit duck with some charred cabbage, and I'm gonna make a gravy from scratch. I'm gonna show you how you can do that. First thing I need to do though is get my confit duck leg into the oven. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to cook. Take these two Marylands out. Now all you need to do is pop them onto an oven tray, 190 degrees in the oven, and cook them for, like I said, about 15 to 20 minutes. On an oven tray like that. Now the gelatinous material in here, inside, I'll try and get some for you. So that there is the natural flavour and gelatin juices that come out of the duck when it's being cooked. So I'm going to use that as part of our gravy. It's the way we're going to add a deeper flavour to our gravy and give it some of that duck flavour. So we're going to scoop all of that gelatinous material off, and that's going to go into our gravy to create something a little bit more than you would normally get if you just boil gravy. It's a way of using what you've got to boost the flavour of something. So this will go into the oven and we'll start on our gravy. We've got about 15 to 20 minutes to bring this together. With a gravy, the most important part is the base that you build. I'll dice this, onion, then my garlic, then my bacon, pop that in and start the process. The base mixture has got some good colour on it, which is what we're after. It's sort of halved in volume. Now to add some more, or a richer flavour, add in about 1.5 tablespoons of tomato paste and cook that out. Add some soy sauce. It's going to season our gravy, but it's also going to give it a bit of an umami boost. At this point, once we add our soy in, I'm going to get as much of that duck stock from the confit as I can. So all of this here, all of that gelatinised stock, we want to put in with our gravy. All right, that tomato is probably cooked out. So add about 1 tablespoon of soy. Our duck stock. One more spoonful. All right. Stir that in. And add in our stock. Probably about 1 cup of chicken stock. We're not going to need any salt because we've got the soy sauce in there as our seasoning. Some thyme. So go probably 5 sprigs of thyme. 5. Pop them in. So that now needs to come back to the boil. I want to taste it, see if I'm happy with all the flavours that are in there, see if it needs to have anything added. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to make a roux, so flour and a little bit of butter. Mix those together. You can use flour and water, or you can just use flour and some of the stock. I'm going to mix that together and pop it in, and that will help thicken our gravy. We don't want a lot because we don't want the gravy to be sort of claggy and too thick. We still want it to run. So you probably only need about, again, 1 tablespoon of flour to 1 tablespoon of stock. Pop that in, bring it back to the boil, and it will start to thicken. Strained my gravy off, so we're left with cup and a half probably of gravy. So pop that into a smaller saucepan just to keep warm. So now I just want to pan fry some of my cabbage. So I've just got my cabbage cut into steaks or wedges. I'm going to pop a little bit of oil into my pan and a little bit of butter. The butter will help it sort of go in a nice golden colour as we caramelise the milk solids in our butter. And then we'll pan fry the cabbage. By then our duck will be ready and we can bring this baby home. At the end of that cooking time for the cabbage, I've just put the juice of a lemon in there to take the heat out of the pan. And also just that lemon and that burnt butter work really, really nicely together. Now it's time to bring everything to the plate. Grab your cabbage. Also that last little bit of lemon also just helps steam your cabbage through. So you've got lots of colour on those bits that were in contact with the pan. And everything else is sort of steamed and soft. All right, so that's our cabbage. Get my duck. I'll grab one of those Marylands. Place that on top of my cabbage. But don't be afraid to add a nice amount of that. There we go. Using our confit duck, our pre-confit duck, to not only end up with a great confit Maryland of duck, but a gravy that you would think took 2 days to make that you can put together in 20 minutes. Give it a try. You'll be blown away, not only by the tenderness and the beautiful flavour in the duck, but the depth of flavour you're able to get in the gravy made so quickly. Now we'll head down south of Tasmania to Hobart and catch up with Henry Terry as he takes a storytelling tour of Mach 1.
I'm at Mach 1 on Hobart's waterfront and we are right in amongst the harbour. You can check out the people walking on the docks, but inside is a whole nother story. It's absolutely spectacular, luxurious, a huge amount of space. Mach 1 is known as a storytelling hotel. I'm not exactly sure what that means just yet, but I understand that each room has been designed with a character from the past, a Tasmanian character from the past in mind. I've got a real treat today. We've got Mach 1's chief storyteller. How about that for a hotel, a chief storyteller? He's coming up to my room today to tell me about the character behind it and give me a storytelling tour. It's great to meet you, Justin. Thank you very much for coming up. You're the chief storyteller at Mach 1.
That's right. I'm a master storyteller.
A master
storyteller. But just at Mach 1. You know, there are storytellers all around Tasmania, and I'm just one of many of them. But
very unique for. I've never come across a hotel with a dedicated storyteller.
Well, it's a nice point of difference. You know, people come to Tasmania looking for different things to do, and storytelling is just a way of connecting our guests and visitors to Tasmania. We've got 114 rooms. Everyone's got a different Tasmanian story on it. But they're not just kings and conquerors, you know, mothers of colony. They're ordinary, everyday people that our guests can identify with, and that gives them a nice, you know, initial connection to Tasmania.
Yeah, cool. So the people that you're showcasing, are they convicts? Are they
There's a few convicts in there, but there are ordinary, everyday people as well. Like there's a one-eyed tinker, a woman called Old Mother One-Eye Brown. She had one eye and she travelled the length and breadth of Tasmania, you know, swearing like a trooper and bullying housewives into buying wooden clothes pegs that she used to make. But people really enjoy her story because she's not, you know, someone from the high ranks of society. She's a battler, and we see ourselves in battlers.
Relate to battlers.
Yeah, so they're from all ends of the spectrum.
Very cool. And so you take tours of Mac 1 and do a storytelling tour?
That's right. We do a tour in the afternoons where we take people round through the hallways, give them a glass of sparkling, have a bit of a chat. It's actually a bit of a local gossip as well about some of the characters on the doors because Tasmania is a small place and we all do know each other. So, you know, that character on that door there, you might say, oh, this person did this wonderful. And someone might say, oh, no, my great aunt knew them and they were actually a bit of a villain there. So you get this lovely little gossip tour that goes around telling us about the character traits of Tasmanians. But then there's tours that we do out on the street as well. And if you're able to, we'll take you out and give you a bit of a look outside later too.
Ripper. Well, I'm free if you are.
All right, excellent.
Awesome.
We don't just connect people through to Tasmania through the characters of Tasmania. We bring them out onto the street and we give them a real connection to the landscape as well. And we're looking at a little picture here that shows where there used to be an island here called Hunter Island.
Right.
And Hunter Island it's now reclaimed under the road here. But if you go and stand across the road outside Peacock and Jones there, you can see the hump of the island in the street just here. And there's some little plaques coming around this way showing where Hunter Island was. So it gives them a bit of a connection to where the hotel is today.
There you go.
But another thing we do is we've got these viewfinders and we take people on this tour we call Hidden Hobart.
Yep.
And what we do is we'll tell you some stories about the things that you can see in 2021.
Yep.
And then we will get you to look through the viewfinder and you'll see someone stood in the same spot 100 years earlier.
Amazing.
And took a photograph and you can sort of see how the landscape's changed.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll head across the bridge here. We'll have a look at our first picture over there.
Beauty.
So where we're standing today, this little bridge just behind us, that only went in 1961. But what's nice to see is you can still see the train tracks following around under the road there. Just a bit of a reminder of something that used to happen here in the past.
Yeah.
But what we'll do is we'll get our viewfinders, and if we turn around and look this way and click round to the next slide, we'll see the same view, but in about 1929, 1930.
Wow. Okay.
So you can see we've got the big old chimney, which is not there anymore.
Yes.
Still up over in the background there.
Yep.
We've got a horse and cart coming over the bridge, and there's a sign just in front of us that says safety first. It's somewhere over here. And if you look down the bottom of the sign, you can see there's a woman walking under the bridge.
Oh, yes, there is too.
Can you see what she's got in her hand?
No, I can't.
It looks like, I'll blow it up for you. It's a gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic?
Well, I don't know, some sort of drink anyway. Yeah.
So, Justin, what do we have behind us?
Well, we're looking at Hunter Street in the 1940s. This used to be a massive, big transport hub. You had the trains coming in, you had the cruise ships coming in just over here, and this is where all the action was happening in this particular spot. And, you know, we like to say with the art school and Mac 1 and the other hotels here, the action is all still over here.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And beautiful old buildings.
Lovely old buildings. And even though we don't have the trains coming around this part anymore, you can still see the train tracks are in the street here. So, you know, people can still find that connection to all the stuff that was happening in here all those years before.
It's so cool how there's little clues from yesteryear around the place. You also mentioned before the curves on the buildings.
Yeah. Show the edge of the old island that used to be there.
Amazing. I never noticed that, and I'm a local.
Yeah. Scratch the surface of Hobart and it bleeds history.
Justin, thanks so much for the tour. I'm absolutely amazed. All these little clues from yesteryear. And I've traversed these streets for years. I lived here for years, and I had no idea. There's so much still standing from all the way back when.
That's right. It's all still very much here, a tangible history.
So if you want to get a really good knowledge on history, you're the man. Come to Mac 1 and have a look.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
When I stay in Hobart, there's probably 3 or 4 hotels I always stay at, and Mac 1 is in that group of hotels. I love it. I love the rooms. I love the fact that it's a storytelling hotel. I love the whole experience that you get there. You can probably not leave the precinct and have just as good a holiday as if you did go into town. So that's a pretty good thing to say about an accommodation offering, I think. All right, so chicken in alcohol. Now, chicken can be cooked in wine, red wine and white wine that can be cooked in different spirits. I'm cooking mine in brandy. So it's going to be a braised chicken in brandy. Start with onion, I'm going to dice. All right, onion dicing tips for everyone at home. I always cut my onion in half before I peel it. I just find it's easier to peel once your onion is cut in half. It enables you to get to the skins a little bit easier. That's just a tip for me, each to their own. Onion halves, if you haven't diced an onion before and you want a little technique refresher, hold your onion, you're gonna cut it this way first. So if your onion is laying horizontally, you're gonna cut through vertically the size that you want your dice to be. So depending on what kind of dice you're trying to create, you'll cut that way. And then you'll go horizontally. And probably if it's a big onion like this, you'll go vertically 3 times. And that way, this part of the onion here, the root part, is holding everything together, and everything else should just fall off in the dice now. So there's our onion diced, some oil in our pan. And it's a nice, simple recipe with very few ingredients because we're relying on the braising and the alcohol to bring us a lot of our flavour. So the first thing I need to do is cook off my chicken. Once my chicken is cooked, I'm going to add my wine and flambe or cook off the alcohol in the wine. So pan on. So the other ingredients to go into this, you've got a little bit of thyme and oregano mixed together, some coriander seed, some white wine, and then our brandy and our chicken, of course. Laying down the onion first, sauteing that off is going to give us a good base of the savoury and sweet flavours that you get out of onion when you saute it. So we'll pop that in now. All right, onions all covered in oil. I'm going to saute that off for probably a few more minutes until it starts to go translucent. Then my chicken will go in. I'm going to cook that until my chicken is browned on all sides. Then I'm going to add my brandy, and then we're going to flambe, the fun part. I added some of my coriander, which was probably about a tablespoon of coriander, a tablespoon of oregano and thyme mixed together, so probably a teaspoon of each. And then I added in about a litre of chicken stock. I've just watched that simmer away for a while. It's probably only about 5 minutes away from being ready. So my rice can go in. We've got our ready-to-eat rice. I'm using a whole grain basmati, which I like. I love basmati as a long grain rice, and I like that it's whole grain because of the health benefits, but also I like whole grains because they're kind of chewy, which I think is a great texture. So this is going to go into the microwave. By the time that's done, we'll be ready to go. I've got some parsley from the garden. which I'm just going to roughly chop. I love young parsley. It looks beautiful. So just roughly chop that. That's just going to go over the top at the end. It's done. Just need a little bit of that. And I need to grab a plate to serve this in, and then we can come back and put it all together. My rice is out, and like I said, I love that it's the full grain or the whole grain rice, so it's nice and chewy. Got my chicken on there. I just want some of this yummy sauce to drizzle on top, and that'll seep down into our rice so that our rice can soak it up. And then just to finish off, some of that parsley over the top. Chicken and brandy, it's one of those comfort food dishes. If you are, it's been a couple of days of bad weather, it's a Wednesday night, you just want to sit on the couch and eat something really yummy and watch a movie, this is one of those dishes.